You can go turn it off if you want to.
Is that the one right behind us?
Yeah. Remember, we're live right now.
Maybe leave one on.
They're both on.
Oh, great.
If it gets difficult, just get up and turn it back on.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Are we seeing anybody in the chat room?
I hear me, but...
There we go. Okay. And you typed that in on Facebook. Very cool. Sherry, hello. Brian Boyd, welcome. Monty, hello, everyone. Robert Brewer, hot damn. Nelson McClintock. Nelson dances around. Sometimes he's YouTube, sometimes he's Twitch, sometimes he's Facebook. Kelly McCardle.
You got whatever, whatever floats your boat.
Whatever floats your boat. Right, whatever your water. Hello, Dan Elaine. That's right.
You guys.
That's right. Hello to the Siglers. Hello to the Siglers from Seymour as well.
Harveys.
How are you guys?
Hey, Dana.
How are you guys? We have so many luscious treats for you. But first, feast your eyes on the amazing graphics. Look at this. I went up to the moon earlier today and shot this. That's putting the flag. And as you can tell, that's me with the quick hustle. That's what Coach always said. Scotty Joe, you got crazy hustle. All right, ready? Here we go.
Scotty Joe.
Oh, Scotty Joe. Oh, my gosh. We're going to have to tell that story sometime, too. People are starting to join us all over the place. And we are now going to go to our main camera and... Hello, everyone. Hello. Welcome on this Thursday night. Cheers. We got our French 75s cooking here.
I was going to make them with Bombay Sapphire Gin because Beth Copenhaver posted a picture of her French 75 from Tuesday, and it looked so good. And then I was working on something else, and I realized I had made drinks like 10 minutes ago, so I just went ahead and made them really fast.
John Viscar asks, is this a place for Sigler/fiction? And the answer is no. There is no Sigler/fiction. There is no Siglerotica. You guys, it is the 51st anniversary of NASA's Apollo 11 mission. First of all, though, remember, if you've got questions, celebrations, ideas for SIP, that is SIGLERinPLACE. We're fancy. Email those to info@emptyset.
Or suggested cocktails. We are going to do, as I've mentioned, we're definitely going to do a gin cocktail next week because some folks went out and got gin specifically to play along. So, but still, anything you'd like after that.
Jude says, we stole this shit from MTV.
Hey, brother, how are you?
Okay, you guys.
Oh, and Bruce says, it's weird. We can see Facebook comments on YouTube. That's Restream.
We have a new treat for you. I'm going to go over some of the new stuff we're trying out today. Watch on the screen, ladies and gentlemen.
Hi, Phil Plate.
Boom. Oh, that's very tiny.
It's very tiny.
I didn't see that coming. So if you guys are watching this on your TVs at home, you can see all of the chat. But I bet if you're watching on a phone or a tablet, you probably can't see anything. Well, live and learn. So we're using Restream.io. And one of the features that we turned on today was the chat. So now the people from Facebook can see the YouTube and Twitch comments. Twitch can see Facebook and YouTube, whatever. It's all mixed up. So now, even though we have 50 people on Facebook, 10 on YouTube, 6 on Twitch, you can all see each other. And hopefully you're one big happy family, which
Wait
I
a
think.
Minute.
What?
There it says, I got ideas for Tails Yo. And on Facebook, so I think we have to adjust. I turned on Restream,
filters.
There are filters, and he turned on like naughty word filter. So Dr. Baker said, I have ideas for cocktails, and it shows up in Restream as I have ideas for asterisk tails.
So this is one of those things, that old adage when you go interview for the job that you want, I believe is the phrase, and act like you've already got the gig, all those things, etc. We are starting to implement practices that will benefit us when we don't have 150 or 250 people on. We've got 1,500, 2,000 people on. One of those is trying to control the chat room.
Yeah.
Other changes we have done this week is we have turned off the autofocus. So please let us know how this goes. We were seeing some problems with autofocus. We turned off the auto white balance. I noticed a lot of sort of blinking on and off of the
Mr.
color.
Kimberlin.
And
Maria.
Cross-platform chat. And we think this will all work, but let us know at the end of the show if you like the changes that we have made. Also, we have new headphones. So
we
don't
do.
look
Tiny little headphones.
tiny.
Which is good because I have a giant head, so I like that. Hello, McArdles. It's nice to see you guys out there. I'm glad you guys are watching together. That's very fun.
And then Bruce Press says, what kind of shit gets filtered? So apparently I missed that. I missed that word.
Actually, he said filleted.
Oh, I see. And you can adjust this stuff on the fly, but we are not going to.
I'm
what's
fuzzy
that say?
most of
A
the
looks
time,
like
Phil.
looks fuzzy, but she may be into. Oh, come on, Phil.
I'm fuzzy most of the time.
Trying to solve problems here. We are drinking French 75s, which we made for you on Tuesday on camera.
Mm-hmm. Next week, we are going to make a Tom Collins. So I had told you guys I was going to stick for a while anyway. I think we'll probably eventually examine weirdo cocktails. And Dr. Daniel Baker, who is in the chat room with me or with you guys, is absolutely full of beans and ready to work on SIGLERinPLACE, which makes me so happy because he's so talented at that. However, next week we're going to make a Tom Collins. So if you don't like gin, you are absolutely welcome to make a Vodka Collins. Same exact thing. You put it in the same glass with the same ice. You just add vodka instead of gin. So I'm going to post that recipe on Monday. I promise this time I will.
Instead of a Tom Collins, and that's an Ivan Collins.
Sure.
Sure. Why not?
Sure. Why not?
Why not? Back to Maine. We are figuring stuff out. We got to figure out what to do the chat. I'm laughing now because the chat is so teeny, but it does look pretty cool. It's moving along pretty cool. We have coming up for you today. We have a question. I was asked a question, I believe, about what my favorite books and movies were. Mm-hmm. We also have figured out what I did wrong with the Grant Imahara video. So we're going to play that to celebrate the passing of this wonderful icon of science. And we have a new video for you that's wonderful. It was put together by the Mythbusters team. And get your Kleenex.
And me too.
Get your and A too.
Oh no. The Apollo one I worked a lot on.
Oh
Sorry,
yeah. And then we've got some. We're going to celebrate the Apollo a little bit. Yes.
But I have to say, Phil said that today we should have named it, should have made a Michael Collins, which I'm sure most of you already know, but Michael Collins is an astronaut, and that is super clever, but I didn't even think of that. I should have gotten it all together so I knew what today's Thursday drink was, because I would have made that the drink of the week for sure.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to play some video right now that you can't see. I'm going to test the volume.
R2, roll the clip.
That's very loud. Very loud.
It wasn't too loud for me.
Turn this down a little bit. See if there's...
Right.
Oh, here's volume. I just need to do this. Bring it down to here.
Shaboop.
It should be fine for everybody. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, as I said, we had a little celebration of Grant Imahara's life on Tuesday, and we goofed up a bit. I goofed up a bit. She had nothing to do with it. I goofed up a video.
I mean, I was having a rough day on Tuesday, so I appreciate you guys. I got a handful of really nice messages. Thank you guys so much. If you haven't been to a Sigler Fest, you probably haven't seen me. Many people in the chat will know this. I am completely transparent, so I couldn't help but be upset on Tuesday, and a lot of people were very lovely and sent me notes saying thank you so much for being honest and open. Don't worry, there's going to be lots of that.
Nicole Noisy says we should have made a
buzzed Aldrin.
Buzzed
We sure
Aldrin.
should have. Yeah,
You're absolutely right. Where were you when I was planning this? You missed the planning meeting.
We didn't know. Now I know I have to look at both days so that I plan the whole week out, not just so that I can plan the SIGLERinPLACE.
So to finish up with the SIGLERinPLACE, we will have the recipe for the Tom Collins posted at scottsigler.com early Monday morning, possibly even Sunday night, depending on how crocs we get on Sunday night. We don't know. Crazy things can happen. It is a pandemic. And then you guys can make it along with us on Tuesday. We piloted that Tuesday. It was wonderful. You got to watch and make a drink. I thought it was super cool, mostly because there were no technical glitches. Not many. And now we are going to play a little bit of a celebration for the life of one Grant Imahara, who passed away Monday. Is that correct?
He passed away Monday evening.
He passed away Monday evening. Let's switch it on over. And then look at that camera, eh? Yep. Okay, here we go. Here we go, guys.
R2, roll the clip. We got to build a robot in 20 hours, okay? The robot's got to shoot projectiles and breathe flame.
I'm Grant Imahara. I've been in the visual effects industry for about 9 years now. My specialty is electronics.
Oh,
poop again.
That's not our fault.
So that clip, in case we'll put it in, I'll find it and put it in the show notes
We'll
too.
give it
or
one
in
more quick try.
There we go.
Click to expand.
Oh, it's
But
okay.
20 hours, okay? The robot's got to shoot projectiles and breathe flame.
I'm Grant Imahara. I've been in the visual effects industry for about 9 years now. My specialty is electronics. Anything that lights up or moves.
Grant Imahara is somebody that I've worked with for years, and I usually consult with him on anything that's a little over my head regarding electronics.
He is able to almost instantaneously grasp a concept or technique and apply it to what he's doing right away and be able to get results with that.
Everybody is watching you all the time. There are cameras all over. I remember what you said. There is no dignity in television. Once you accept that, it gets a lot more fun. What we're about to do, we're going to do for fun. This is my personal Han Solo costume. And I can see the car and control it great from the chopper. We've made a career out of making what seems impossible possible.
I love this shot.
That bullet is going to do whatever it wants to. I think that it brought about a renaissance of making science fun, something that people could relate to and say, oh, science isn't boring, it's explosions and car crashes. It's really a fun world to open up to. Totally confirmed.
Quick, your army is attacking! We always use
No, we haven't.
Yes. Who wants some? Yes, something just touched me! Go!
We're not just blowing things up here, people.
In 3, 2, 1.
This one's busted.
Busted. Busted.
Whew.
So that clip was put together.
So this happened.
Oh. So that clip was put together by the production company that made Mythbusters through its entire run. It's called Beyond, and it's Australia-based. And they did a really lovely job, I think. They really went deep on purpose to find shots of him being Grant, of him laughing, of him proud of himself, of him proud of the team, of him proud of his robots and all that stuff. And I think they did a really lovely job. And I'm glad we got to share it with you guys.
People are asking for the link. I'll post it now. I don't know if there's anything else posted here, but it's at facebook.com/Mythbusters. As you guys can tell, shockingly for someone who deals in death in their fiction all the time, when it comes to real world death, not so good.
And I don't know. I know a lot of you guys know this. I'm the daughter of a mortician. My brother, who's in the chat room, we are children of a mortician. Like, I've seen a whole bunch of funerals and a whole bunch of death, and it's, sometimes it matters, and I think it was a really big loss. Well, it's for us, especially during a pandemic, but any time really.
it's we're going to talk about meeting famous people and at the end of the show, our personal experiences meeting some famous people. But one of the things that's interesting is the more time you spend watching a personality on television, particularly a super positive personality like Grant and the Mythbusters team, or listening to a super positive podcaster. I don't know, somebody tells stories, whatever. You start to, you realize these are not your close in-person friends, but they are a regular part of your life. Mm-hmm. And when they go, you're like, it hurts.
And I will tell you guys, there are a handful of folks I think in the chat room who maybe have had a chance to meet Grant as well. And you guys can chime in too. I know Phil, Nicole, Tim, if you're in the chat room, potentially Maria, I'm not really sure. I think maybe at a New Year's Eve party. If you think gosh, I feel like I know him. I will tell you, you did. He, in my experience, knowing Grant, he was exactly the person you think he was. He was exactly who he was on TV and on BattleBots and on Mythbusters and on the White Rabbit Project. And it's a pretty big loss. So I appreciate that you guys are enjoying that as well. I'm glad that we got
this is the last thing I'll say about it. It's particularly a tough loss to lose a talented science communicator at a time when science is literally under attack in a lot of different ways.
Yes.
And, that show Mythbusters, when the final history of it all is written, that people are going to look back on that and be like, that show changed the perception of science for an enormous amount of people, because it was about, as Grant said, it was about explosions and flaming arrows and armor and just and things blowing up and robots smashing each other, and the show constantly reinforced the tenets of science. The show constantly reinforced the scientific method, how to be a critical thinker, and there just wasn't that many shows like it that had that pop culture sensibility with a bunch of really, really good on-camera communicators and all of that science. So
yeah, Nicole said a really smart thing just now. She said, I already loved science and they made me love it more. And that is a thing. I'll tell you, I still work with Adam Savage every day or every work day. And I think we at least get 2 or 3 emails a week saying, gosh, you changed my life. Thank you so much. And this week has been particularly full of that. People saying, my goodness, I wouldn't be the teacher I am. I wouldn't be the parent I am. I wouldn't be the scientist I am. I wouldn't be the electrical engineer I am. I wouldn't be the aerospace engineer I am without Grant, without Mythbusters. So I appreciate you guys celebrating Grant's life with us.
Go out there and fight for science, y'all. Now, to switch gears, to move over to the happier stuff, we have some SIGLERbrations. Not SIGLERvations, which I was very confused about a week ago. SIGLERbrations.
Tuesday. Yes.
Okay.
So, again, send these into info@emptyset. Anytime you have one. Doesn't have to be a Tuesday or Thursday. We want to celebrate whatever you want to celebrate, because come on now, you don't get to go out to dinner to celebrate your birthday. Let us celebrate with you. So on Tuesday, we celebrated Shannon Bethany's birthday. She wasn't actually on the cast that night. She actually emailed after the fact. So I'm just going to say happy birthday again, because it was yesterday. Also, today is a long time fan. I'm not even sure that she even watches live SIGLERinPLACE, but I know she has been following Scott since send in your name and get your name in the
maker
ancestor
of delicious
book,
cookies.
like forever.
Yeah.
So Marie Krieger,
Happy
Krieger.
birthday,
Today
Marie.
is her 50th birthday, and she's super excited about it. She said it was her own 50th, so I get to say that too.
Okay.
And then also yesterday afternoon, I'm not sure he is the youngest junkie anymore, but at the time he was he was absolutely the youngest junkie. His name is Paul Harvey, and yesterday he passed his level 1 instructor certification in MMA and XMA, right? XMA?
Yeah.
And we're super proud of you, Paul. We couldn't be happier for you. I know you worked so hard. I know you worked all by yourself through the summer by Zoom, getting here. And I am so happy to tell you guys that he passed his level 1 instructor certification yesterday.
So, if you guys have been following me for a while, you have maybe, some of you have been following me for a long time, almost as long as you've been waiting for Mount Fitzroy, which we have some news about. But if you've ever seen the pictures of the little kid wearing the Kraken's jersey that comes down to his ankles, standing next to a stack of anywhere from 10 to 14 hardcover GFL novels, that is the young man that we were just talking about. He is not a little kid anymore. He's whipping swords around and whatnot and doing forms and just very doing his thing.
He's a terrific,
working hard.
Thoughtful, patient, lovely, well-mannered, interactive, crazy, great, tiny little human being who I cannot wait to spend years and years and years hanging out with.
John Viscara is a clever human being. John Viscara says he was known as the crack baby because of earth core, earth crack, all you junkies. So
that
he
was
the
his
crack.
Parents' choice, not ours.
His parents' choice, not ours.
Parents' choice.
I would if I'd thought of it, I'd have used it. But parents came up with it. Crack baby is now smack baby. You see, it's crack and smack are both narcotics.
This is one of Scott's
right?
favorite things.
They're both
explaining
narcotics.
a joke.
But smack also can be when you hit something because you're trained in the martial arts. You following?
I mean, I was following before, and I am still following now. So yes, I am following. But congratulations, Paul. We're quite proud of you. I'm sure you are proud of yourself. You should be even prouder.
Those are our Sigler-brations, and in the Sigler household, we are advocates of celebrate the wins. The wins don't come often. Celebrate them.
Celebrate everything.
You get a new job. You got a birthday. Let us know. Let us know. We would love to shout you out.
You know this about me. I want to celebrate everything. So we do we do cheers and celebrations that we give to the whole crowd at Siglerfest, and then we open up the floor. And I don't care if you got up today and you lost that 1 pound you want to lose. I want to celebrate it. If you think you might get a new job and you're excited about the interview, I want to celebrate it. So that's what I'm asking you guys to do. Anything at any time, send it in so we can celebrate live with you guys.
John, you're killing me. John mentioned in the comments that Paul is now 35 books high, which, knowing John, he probably went and measured. What's the average spine width of a GFL book and calculate it?
To be fair, your books get girthier and girthier.
Oh, they do. They do.
They do.
Patrick Martin has the best apology for being late I've seen in this yet. Sorry I'm late, and then just shouts out sturtlefish because there's a new... The liger of the aquatic world is a sturtlefish. I posted this at facebook.com/Scott Sigler earlier today. Oh my God, is that an ugly fish?
Jane, I'm not sure who you are, but I might not have gotten your email. I do have a couple of other things to celebrate. We're going to do them wide, but I don't think you're Carol. Carol's in the chat room on Facebook, so I'll just do that right now. The other thing to celebrate today, and Jane, if this isn't it, please email me at info@emptyset and say you screwed it up. Do it again on Tuesday, and I will, I promise. And we are celebrating that we are a science-based organization here. We are people who believe in science, and we are people who want you guys to stay safe and stay science. So there are a handful of counties that have decided to do lockdown, decided to do masks all the time. There are a handful of stores that have decided to do that. I know not everybody believes that this is a scientific certainty. We in this house, we do. We would encourage you guys to protect yourself and everybody else. If you go to CVS, if you go to Target, if you go to Walmart, if you go to, well, anywhere, we want you to do it anywhere. But all those places have asked that you wear masks all the time if you're in public around other people, as has the state of Colorado today. So I know some people think that this might be taking away your liberties, and I am all in to have that discussion as long as you live through it.
Yeah.
And the way you live through it is to wear a mask around other people. Science works by bits and pieces. We take information, we process it, we examine it, and we change our minds. That's the way you grow, and that's the way you live, and that's the way science works. So I appreciate that 2 months ago, masks were not necessary. It's not a failing to look at the data and say now masks are necessary. Please, we want you guys to live to 2021 and hopefully come to Siglerfest and all that stuff. So go ahead and do that if you can.
Kim Hansen just said her brother-in-law died of, I believe she's trying to type COVID. She typed CIVID.
Kim.
But so if that's a joke, poorly timed. But it's not a joke.
It's not.
We're
sorry.
very, very, very sorry to hear that. Yes, it is actually COVID. It is beginning. I saw some analysis. We're going to talk briefly about this. This is a happy, positive show. I saw some analysis. They were very close to reaching the point where the average American is more likely to know someone who is either very sick or has died from COVID than there is to not know someone who is very sick or died from COVID. We're rapidly approaching this particular level. So,
which is unfortunate because it's not going to, I promise you, I understand it feels political. It isn't. It isn't. And you can't scream it away. You can't argue it away. You can't justify it away. Please protect yourself.
Is it the plate's anniversary? Is it the plate's anniversary?
Is it the plate's
also,
anniversary?
Ali Kirby, hello, welcome, welcome.
Hello.
Thank you for
Ali,
coming
nice
from
to
New
join
Zealand
us.
Or Australia. It's Friday in New Zealand and Australia, so I assume I don't know which one you're in, but either way, we love you. Thank you for showing up. Now we're an international audience again. It's great.
Yeah. And Dan Williams just asked if we have Kraken's masks available at Empty Set. We do not.
Not yet.
Hopefully somebody can throw a link into Belladonna 420's Redbubble shop. She has our complete support. Any profits she makes, she contributes to Junkies, and she also does all the work. So we're fine either way with it. And you've seen them on Facebook a couple of days, probably a couple of times today. There are a few people who got their Kraken's their INF Kraken's masks, which are super cool, and I probably will get one. I think, but there it is. Thank you so much, Sean.
Ooh, what's that? What's that?
I don't know
What kind of
it is.
dance is this?
I don't know.
That's the new book dance.
Oh, there's a new book. Yay!
This the book I do when all that work pans out. And all of a sudden,
Thank you, Belladonna.
maybe there's an ebook, maybe there's an audiobook, and sometimes there's a print book. And that's when I do this dance. Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, you guys watch the graphics. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me with these graphics? Although I wasn't on the right page. Let's go back. Let's go back. God damn it.
Uh-oh, Duck, Duck, Go.
Look
at the graphics. Look at these graphics. Look at Duck, Duck, Go.
Look at these graphics. I have something super cool to show. Camera right there. We got print books from the dystopian
They are
triptych,
so pretty, you guys.
edited by John Joseph Adams and Hugh
at this.
Howie. Yeah.
They're so
yeah.
talented. John Joseph Adams is one of our favorite anthology.
He's a pimp. He's so good.
Anthologists, I'll say. So good at his job. And these three are all... you have to hold that one. I can't get
I got you. Look at that. This
these are
design
all
is great.
just gorgeous, and all the stories in these are related. They are pandemic. Before there was an actual pandemic, we were doing this all of last year, which I'm not sure if that makes John Joseph Adams a wizard or not, but it might. These are post-apocalyptic stories, and it's sort of, or else the light is kind of just getting into the apocalypse. Ignorance is strength is where we are now, where masks might be fucking political, which they're fucking not.
That's $2 in the swear jar.
I know, I'll do it again. Fucking masks are not
3,
fucking political.
4,
fucking wear a mask.
5, Papa making that bank. What's up?
And
Papa
this,
making that swear bank.
Burn the Ashes is living through the pandemic, through the apocalypse in this case, and seeing what that looks like. So, you guys, all of these are beautiful books. I believe the audiobook is out today.
Yes, the audiobooks are out as well. If you
Ebooks are
want links to the Amazon, I believe Amazon's the only place you can order these things, although I'm sure the audiobook is on Audible. You can go to, I will show you again. I'll tell you where to go. You want to know where to go? Usually I say, hey, you want me to tell you where you're going to go? I'll tell you where you're going to go. You know where you want to go? Right here. You want to go to scottsigler.com/books. And, these are Amazon affiliate links for us. So we invade your computer and drop a cookie. It's like taking a dookie on your computer, except it's a cookie.
I believe that's probably a swear jar thing, right?
Oh, no, Dookie's completely. It was a whole album. The whole album called Dookie. All right, ladies and gentlemen, now.
One more thing. If you guys want these books, they are not available signed anywhere. You can buy them wherever you want. If you want them signed, if you want them personalized from Scott, please let us know. We have book plates that are specific to the Siglerverse that we can send you some.
I forget. We have so much stuff. I forget about the stuff we have. To be fair, I don't remember what I had yesterday for lunch. It's every day I have to go to I'm on my little calorie tracking app. And I'm like, do you remember what I had for dinner 2 nights ago? What do we have for lunch?
He says every day, which would be way easier since I do all the cooking, but he does this. On like Tuesday, he'll be like this. Hey, remember when we did the space SIGLERinPLACE with the with the moon Sigler? Can you tell me what I ate that day? I'd be like, no, I have no idea because I am not the arbiter of all your food. I can tell you what I can't even do that. No, I can't.
Well, to be fair, I have to keep in my head all of the fiction stuff for you people. 2 things I'd like to point out.
Love this.
Number 1,
Beth Copenhaver said it was probably kale, which is a good idea.
Thank
it probably
you,
was
Thank
kale.
you, Beth. But it wasn't apples, Beth. I can tell you that. You guys, I think we're getting our sound dialed in. Do you guys not think that A sounds just dope-alicious, magnificent course? I think it sounds amazing.
San Dimas High School football.
Oh God, that voice, dude. That voice is such a good voice. Just wait till she starts doing audiobooks again, you guys. It's gonna be great. So that's new books.
You should have put a ring.
I did put a ring on it. I put a ring, and this is actually one of A's old rings because the ring we got didn't fit. We're working on it.
It's
We're
coming.
working on it.
It'll be here probably by the next SIGLERinPLACE.
So I now need to go to, there we go. Now it's time, ladies and gentlemen, one of the most magnificent accomplishments in the history of our species. This isn't like, oh snap, Scott played a video game and got almost a perfect score. This isn't like, I mowed the lawn and it looks pretty good. This also isn't like, I peed and didn't hit the toilet seat. This is something spectacular in the history of mankind. Now, last year was the big 50th anniversary of the Apollo 11 mission.
It was actually kind of, I'll be very quick. It was a very cool year for me because, as I mentioned, I work with Adam Savage and I'm a logistics person. So NASA is a government agency and they do a whole lot of teleconferences. But I got to join all those teleconferences because Adam doesn't have time for things like that. So I did it. And it was awesome for me. I got to, it was super fun and cool. And while I did almost nothing for what you're about to watch, I facilitated a lot of this. And I'm real proud of it.
So we are going to switch back over to our fancy monitor 2. And we're going to watch this. And I will again ride the volume just to be safe. But this, Grant made me cry. This makes me cry
I brought tissues
every damn time. When you see a really, really, really old person who has done something really, really, really important.
Hey, Shelba.
Like, for example, when I watch World War II vets or World War II nurses or anything like where they have the archival footage, I'm a waterworks. I'm a disaster. Here we go. Whoops. Nope.
Now here we go.
Okay, let's go there, Capcom on the hot fire. Okay, all flight controllers going around the horn, gonna go for undocking. Okay, Retro, go. Fido, go. Guide, go.
So great.
Go. Telcom, go. Jinsei, go. Ecom, go. Surgeon, go. Capcom, we're go for undocking.
Armstrong, Aldrin, and Collins arrived at the moon on Saturday, July 19th.
That's Adam Savage.
We did get close, and we rolled out and saw it for the first time.
And there's our Michael Collins.
It was a revelation. It was gigantic. It filled our entire window.
Oh, my God.
It's amazing, right?
Can you imagine
The next day, Sunday, July 20th, was landing day.
In a lot of anticipation, we finally come to the day, the moment that this is about to commence.
Landing on the moon was absolutely the most difficult piece of any Apollo mission, okay? Think about it as a controlled fall out of lunar orbit. The problem is, in this controlled fall out of orbit, you only have enough fuel for one try.
Capcom, we're go for landing. Altitude 4,200. Houston, you're go for landing, over.
The trajectory had been wrong. They were targeted into this inhospitable place. Then they had to fly over this area at a high forward velocity, then pitch up to slow down so that kill their forward velocity, and then start down like a helicopter. So now we're critical fuel state. And that's why the 60-second call was given, and then the 30-second call.
Then I really got nervous, was calling out 25 seconds of fuel left. And then 20 seconds.
It's unbelievable. Like, you just don't expect them to get old, man. But they,
Okay, engine stop.
Well, according to him, he didn't think he'd get old.
Control both auto descent engine command
This is another world they landed on. Another world.
13 is in. We copy you down, Eagle. Listen, Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed. Roger, Tranquility. We copy you on the ground. You got a bunch of guys about to turn blue. We're breathing again. Thanks a lot.
The landing to me was a great celebration. The nation was almost euphoric.
Well,
Because they understood the science that got them there.
Could accomplish tremendous goals if they worked together as a team.
We can do it again, y'all. I will also say, you guys, Phil, I am telling the story you are not sharing. I also had a chance to meet a handful. I've been to Space Fest, I think it's called, a couple of times, and I got to meet Charlie Duke as well. And it was a mixed bag, but it was mostly amazing because, it's amazing to stand in front of the very few humans who have actually gone outside of our atmosphere. There are so few of them, and they are, of course, less and less every day. So the way we did that, and when we did that, we had no MacBooks, we had no iPhones, we had no smartphones. The way we did that is that we believed that science matters. And we can do it again.
I think we had Texas.
Yes.
Texas Instrument calculators. That's what we had.
We definitely did have TI.
Yep.
As long as science matters, humans can do anything. And if science doesn't matter to you, we may not survive. That's the way this works. So
that is amazing to watch. Like, we're blasé about it now. Shit goes into space all the time. Sometimes I fart funny and something goes into space. It's ridiculous.
I know that you want us to stay on track, but I caution Phil because I was with Phil Plate at Space Fest when I had a conversation with Charlie Duke that I'm never repeating.
Okay.
Which was fine.
Okay.
However, he just said in the chat, any good stories about, I don't know, say Buzz Aldrin, eh? And I will tell you guys this because we're going to talk about meeting famous people. There was I forget why we were there, but we were at the Air and Space Museum in San Diego, and I was with Phil. And I think it might have been related to the Space Fest, some sort of extra fundraising dinner or something. And we were sitting there and we were chatting, and we were sitting at a table, and there was a whole bunch of empty stuff, like empty seats next to us with literally with people's stuff right in front of it. And I, of course, am an apple polisher. You guys all know this about me. So I pick up the canvas bag and I'm like, okay, somebody's missing stuff, and I'm holding it and whatever. And Buzz Aldrin storms back into the room, snatches the bag, and he's like, that's my bag. And he takes it away. And I can't I'm so mortified because I feel like maybe Buzz Aldrin is mad at me that I'm like, okay, so hi. That was so that's not one of the things I'm going to talk about of the famous people that I met, because I was such an idiot that's the whole story. But there, I told it anyway.
We have a NASA employee apparently in the house. Tracy Shank says,
yeah, thank you, Tracy. I didn't know that. That's awesome.
Thank you for pushing the boundaries of humanity and letting people set foot on another planet. Now, I want you to look at the very bottom of your screen, the center graphic. For the bottom of your screen. That is the logo that is on the helmets of the new Rodina astronauts who have struggled as of late. Fallen to tier 2, come back into tier 1. They've had some problems. Coaching issues, personnel issues. That is the logo. And I should have looked this up. I forgot who came up with this logo, but it's such a winner. That is Buzz Aldrin's footprint.
It's either Scott Pond or it's Len Peralta. I'm almost sure it's Scott Pond.
It's probably another Scott Pond, the in-house graphic designer at Empty Entertainment. That, I think, aside from the Kraken's helmet, because I'm addicted to orange and black, as you can see, that is the coolest logo I've ever seen for a sports team, ever. And yes, Washington, D.C., you may take the astronauts if you so choose, and that one guy hasn't trademarked it yet. But that is the logo on the side of the football helmets. That is Buzz Aldrin's, the first human footprint anywhere other than the planet Earth. So it's very cool.
And the scientists in the room can confirm if they want to, but I believe that footprint has, if it has not been obliterated by one of the rovers.
I think they've avoided it.
I think will still be exactly like that on the moon.
It should be untouched. There's no wind. There's no farts, which is something that can cause a lot of problems. I mean, it does around the Sigler household. It causes a lot of problems.
Now this is the first time I'm going to ask him to explain the joke. I mean, of course there's no farts.
Well, there are people on the moon from time to time, and they may pass wind. You don't know. You know what? Here's the thing. I'm pretty sure if I'm designing a spacesuit, I'm going to design a spacesuit with a fart flap. Because if you don't have a fart flap...
I mean, that is absolutely not how space works.
There are airlocks. I've seen Star Trek, ma'am.
I know, but not in a spacesuit. Not in a spacesuit.
If you fart and it stays in that suit with you, can you imagine being stuck in a suit with your own farts? Let's say you've got a bad case of the gas. You've been stuck in a suit with your own farts for like 4 or 5 hours. It's not pleasant. So I'm pretty sure NASA engineers...
Nicole
Tracy, get on that.
They fart in the suit. They bring it right back into the spaceship.
So nasty.
And Dr. Plate says, actually, I'm not sure that Armstrong's boot print is still there. It was at the bottom of the ladder, so they would have had to walk right by it on the way to get back to the ladder.
God damn it, Phil. Why do you got to be like this all the time?
Science is real. Science is what it is, sir.
I want my myths. I want my logo. Look right there. Look at my logo.
Fart flaps, not a thing in
Fart
space.
flaps. I'm going to start a new campaign. It's going to be a fundraiser for NASA. It's going to revolve around booty fart flaps in the spaceman suits. We have a sponsor, ladies and gentlemen. Our sponsor, as you know, except for one rare occasion, our sponsors are not actually paying us money. We're trying to get people to send them money. Well, I suppose in a way, if we are sponsoring someone who's giving us money, we're trying to get them to send them money too, right?
Yeah, either way. In this case, they are not hiring us. We are just highlighting important nonprofits. And
let me, I got to keep talking, girl. Vamp.
And in this case, our nonprofit, because this week we are talking a lot about the sudden and tragic loss of Grant Imahara. This is the Joe Negro Foundation is about aneurysms, AVMs, intracranial bleeds, intracranial hemorrhages, things like this. I think you guys should go. The one thing I want to talk to you guys all about, because this literally could happen to any of us.
Could happen to you, dog.
Half of the aneurysms, like the one that almost assuredly ended Grant Imahara's life, are diagnosed upon the human's death, just like with Grant Imahara. So I am going to tell you a handful of the warning signs, right? So knowing the signs can save your life. For an aneurysm, you will not have had they're not going to show up on a blood test. They're not going to show up on a physical exam. They're not going to show up until they show up. And here's how they show up before a rupture. If you have a moment where you say, my God, this is the worst headache of my life. It is literally, you're an adult, you've had headaches in your life, and this is different. If it is different to you, try and understand that might be an intracranial bleed. That might be an aneurysm getting ready to rupture. So the worst headache of your life is a warning sign that could save your life. Nausea and vomiting for no good reason. You didn't have 4-week-old egg salad. You just all of a sudden, sitting at your desk working, threw up in your lap. That's a warning sign.
Yes.
You have a very stiff neck, and that's not a normal thing with a pathology you understand, like you have, whatever, arthritis or something. If it's unusual to you, that's a warning sign. If you have blurred or double vision for no reason that you can discern, you didn't just hit your head, you didn't just drink a gallon of French 75s. If there's no reason for you to have blurred or double vision, that's a warning sign. If you have an instant and immediate sensitivity to light that you didn't have before. You're sitting normal every day working at your computer, and all of a sudden nothing changed. You didn't change the brightness. That's a warning sign. If you have a drooping eyelid on either side of your face, that's a warning sign that you didn't have before. If you have a loss of consciousness with no discernible reason for that happening, that's a warning sign. And of course, this is going to be hard, but I'm going to say it. If you have confusion, which I have every minute of every day, that is unusual for you. So I'm going to run through them without saying warning sign, the whole list. The worst headache of your life, nausea and vomiting, stiff neck, blurred or double vision, sensitivity to light, a drooping eyelid, loss of consciousness or confusion. That might be the one warning you have before that aneurysm ruptures. And I think it's worth, I don't even know who will remember this if it happens to them, but whoever you are, it is worth treating that like a life-threatening situation.
Get ahead of it.
Get ahead of it. If you go to the ER and you pay a copay and all that other stuff or whatever, and it was because you ate bad fish, okay. But if it wasn't, it could have saved your life. It could have saved Grant's life. And as I told you guys on Tuesday, heeding the warning signs saved the life of one of my best friends on earth, and I'm eternally grateful. And the Joe Negro Foundation can teach you a whole lot about aneurysms.
So much information on the site. It's crazy.
Please go visit it. Please donate if you can. Please support this if you can. But mostly learn the warning signs and know that if this happens to you, it's worth paying attention.
All right. So that is our sponsor for this week. Now we are moving on to... Hey, I set up a new question graphic. You ready for this?
Questions.
First, we have to switch back to Maine, because that's what we do here. We switch back to Maine. And, here we go. Questions. Oh, we've got questions. We've got a question mark and a graphic, and it might be 6-bit, 4-bit, 8-bit. I don't know, but this question, it moves around because it's time for a question. And now we keep that graphic up there. Ladies and gentlemen, in the red corner, hailing from Rivendell, fighting out of the pointy-eared School for Wizards with a professional record of 10 wins and 4 losses, it is James, plus 10 staff of power, Stafford. Hey, tell us what James's question is.
Well, James's question is simple. It is, what books, movies, or music do you return to over and over? What are your favorites?
First of all, let's get this out of the way. Aliens. James Cameron Aliens. 132 times I've seen it and counting. Pulp Fiction, Quentin Tarantino. Not 132 times, more like 25 to 30, I would say, somewhere in the ballpark. You know, when I need to pick me up, when I'm a little bit down and I need someone to jazz me up on life, and I need those positive vibes flowing down, I like to watch Pulp Fiction and watch a kid get shot in the face in the backseat of a car by accident, and then watch an industrious group of go-getters clean up that mess. This is what makes me happy because it's fiction. If it was a real dude, I'd be crying. Book-wise, at this point, I have stopped rereading because I have so many friends who are authors, and the pressure sort of, in this case, the pressure of like, I like that person. I like her. I like him. I like they. I gotta like, dive into that. I've been on a panel. So I've read so many books now of people I've just been on a panel with that I've never met before. And I'm like, oh, that was so cool. Like we riffed. It was great. I want to consume the work that's on paper, that's a part of their mind. So there's very little rereading. When I was rereading, it was a lot of Anne McCaffrey, a lot of Jack London. I've reread Seawolf many times. I can't remember if he wrote A Dog Named Wolf. I think so. I'm blanking out now. But those are the big ones. There's no time to go back and rewatch TV shows. Like I want to go back and rewatch Justified because I think it's magnificent, or possibly The Good Place. I probably will rewatch Schitt's Creek at some point because I think it is a masterclass in how to throw something out there, throw a lure into the water. Like we know we've got something really cool here, but we're not quite sure how it works yet. And our whole career is, don't wait till you have everything figured out. Just go start. Get in the ring, start fighting, and you'll figure it out as you go. And to me, that was what Schitt's Creek was. Yeah. And then musically, it's all, it just depends on the band. I go back in Times of Trouble.
Mother Mary comes to me, speaking words of wisdom.
I go back to Bon Scott. Bon Scott and AC/DC. That is who I go back to. An amazing, amazing storyteller. If your stories revolve around drinking, partying, and a whole lot of Rosie, like these are magnificent. It's so good. I love everything AC/DC's ever done, even the new stuff. But you go back to Bon Scott, and you're like, that. I know he died young. I know he did. But that was a man who's like, here's the things I like, and I'm going to enjoy them till the day I go. So those are the things that I'm largely crazy about, A. Kovacs. How about you? What do you go back to?
So for books, especially recently, I'll talk about recently in lockdown. I am one of those people who went back to things I already know make me happy because I know how they end and I don't know how this ends. So it gave me some solace. So I've reread quite a lot of Jonathan Mayberry. I've reread a whole lot of Peter Klein's, I think his entire collection. So if you haven't read the X series, if you haven't read 14 or Paradox Bound, I think both of those are very interesting. The X series, it's called the EX Dash. So it's like X Heroes, X Patriots, whatever. Those are very interesting to me, especially X Heroes, which takes place in a post-apocalyptic LA. Those are very powerful books for me. I think they're very good. I also really, really, really love Kevin Hearn's Iron Druid series. They are good giving and game for people, hymns, hers, theys, everybody. They are very lovely books, and I enjoy those a whole lot. And he has a new book called Ink and Sigil. So these are books that, for me, I've gone back to.
Is a hell of a dude. He is so cool. So fun hanging out with him. Peter Klein's too, and Jonathan Mayberry. What's that? Oh, yes. Oh, hi. Hi, everybody.
Hi, you guys.
I'm still figuring this out.
Hello, you guys.
These authors that A has mentioned are not only creators of magnificent works of fiction, really, really good stuff. Without fail, they are. I have met so few shitty people in the world of science fiction and fantasy writing, and like even one of our favorites, Richard Kadrey. Who is if you see Richard Kadrey coming down an alley, you're like, I'm moving to the other side of the street. That looks like a bad motherfucker right there. I don't know.
Guys,
I don't know.
Y'all should look up, or you can look up while I'm talking about it. You should look up what Richard Kadrey looks like. Oh my goodness. I'm currently right this second, I should have mentioned it sooner, listening to all of the Sandman Slim novels again. They are also lessons in how to be a good human in a world that respects every sort of human. Every him, every her, every they, every I'm not really sure. You will meet all of them. And archangels and demons All of them.
Howard, yeah, I think good giving in game is a regular phrase that A uses, and yes, that did come from Dan Savage.
Absolutely came from Dan Savage. Yeah, there are some things that are useful to talk about, and he really nailed that on the head. That idea that you cannot understand it and yet not. It's another swear jar. I don't give a fuck.
Oh my gosh.
I'm just putting $20 in the swear jar.
Yep.
You can give you literally he doesn't give a shit about why you want to be good giving in game. It's more important to be good giving in game and then understand how you fit in. And that, I think, can save the world. And so Sandman Slim series or Richard Cowdery's, any of Richard Cowdery's books, I would recommend them. Obviously, you're all here because you read Sigler books. I would recommend them. Kevin Hearn books. I haven't read every Kevin Hearn book, but I've read most of them. The Iron Druid series is gorgeous.
Kevin Hearn is a beast.
Peter Klein's has written
Klein.
an enormous amount of lovely books.
Hail Peter Klein.
They're all hard, but they're all good.
Hail Kevin Hearn.
I cannot wait. I'll be also honest. I cannot wait for the next Gideon the Ninth book, which I think
Who's
is
that?
called Harrow the Ninth. I think it's Tamsin Muir, and it comes out next month.
I can't throw a hail out because I've never read that.
Right,
but
of course, and that's fine. But
hail Richard Cowdery. Hail Jonathan Mayberry.
Yeah, exactly. And these are people who are. I understand that everybody except Tamsin Muir that I just talked about are middle-aged white men. I don't know that all of them identify as cis white men, but I think they're all middle-aged white men anyway. And I will tell you that
believe they are those guys. If you look at they're across the board. It's all over.
But
the
I
place.
will tell you that they are good giving and game writers. So yes, I just named a whole bunch of white dudes except for Tamsin Muir, but it is worth reading them anyway.
They're good books. They're good books. And if you want to mix it up a little bit, throw some V.E. Schwab in there. Just mix it
for
up
sure.
A bit.
Yeah,
Mix it
for
up a
sure.
bit. Hail V.E. Schwab. So now we're going to go. We're running late. We got 9 minutes. We originally thought we were going to play 30 minutes, tell our famous person stories. But as you may have known by watching me or listening to me for many, many, many years, I'm a little chatty. I like to chat a little bit. So we're going to make this quick. So I'm going to tell my George R. R. Martin story. Then A's going to tell her Anne McCaffrey story. We're going to save my In This Moment story and A's Gregory Hines story for another night. But we want to talk about meeting famous people. We were talking about Grant and how you can feel a personal connection with someone that you've never met who literally doesn't even know you exist. And for me, one of those big moments was George R. R. Martin, of course, the Game of Thrones series. The first 3 Game of Thrones books, the only thing that comes close to those, in my opinion, for series, is the first 3 Gunslinger books. Now, both series go, let's just call it go in a different direction as the rest of the series moves on. But Gunslinger 1, 2, and 3 and Game of Thrones 1, 2, and 3 are just, as a creator of works of fiction, are just, I'll never, ever in my life do anything that good. So I'm going to Comic-Con, and A has lived in San Diego for a long time. I have not. I'm relatively new, and I wasn't even living in San Diego at the time. So
right, you weren't. You flew in.
No, yeah, flew in, and I'm a Random House author, so I get to go to the Random House party. Now, I've never been to a publisher party before. So being the good Midwestern Michigan boy that I am, I show up 45 minutes early because you're supposed to show up 15 minutes. If you're not 15 minutes early, you're 15 minutes late. Usually show up a half an hour early. And when it really matters, you show up 45 minutes early and you ask, hey, you guys need any help setting up? Is there anything I can do? What?
Do you need big things moved?
Do you need someone to go to the store? I'll go. Like, this is normal behavior in the area that I'm from. People just show up like, oh, you need ice? I'll be right back. And then they'll drive and they'll bring back. So I go to the Bootlegger Bar in San Diego, which Random House had bought out for a Comic-Con party. I'd never been to a Comic-Con party. Never been to Comic-Con. I go in and
you had been to Comic-Con for Infected, but just for an autograph signing.
Autograph signing. Yeah. So this is the first fancy pants other author party that Home Slice has ever been to. So I walk in and there's literally no one there. And I'm like, maybe 45 minutes was a tad early. And I remember David was at the door, and David still works for...
This is David Mensch. He's a publicist at Random House.
A magnificent specimen of humanity. I love him to death. David Mensch is at the door, and he looks at me and he's like, why are you... he's about to say, why are you here so early? And then he catches him and he's like, why are you...
Hello, Scott.
You could, hi, Scott, would you like to come in and have a drink? And I'm like, yes, I would. Yes, sir, I would. And I go in, and David then is like trying to, like, you can tell David's like, oh, sweet summer child. The authors show up 2 hours late, not 45 minutes early. I had not figured this out yet. He says, if you'd like to, just go in and, we have a tab. Go to the bar. Tell me on our tab. It's fine. I go sit at the corner of the bar, bootlegger bar. I'm trying to show how to show you guys this.
Also, for anybody who's been to San Diego ever, this was maybe three blocks from the Lair of Doom when we still had it.
Yep.
It's pretty close.
I'll finish this up so you can tell her story. So I walk in, and I sit down at the corner of the bar. I'm in the left side corner. There's a gentleman in the right side corner. And the gentleman, has got a few extra pounds on him. Clearly is in his, 50s, somewhere in that ballpark. And I sit down, and there's, I believe there was football on TV. I can't remember Comic-Con. There's some kind of sports on TV. And I start just chatting the guy up, like, blah, 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 blah. Like, hey, what do you think of that? Like, oh, I don't know about the Houston Rockets. I don't think they have the stamina to make it all the way to the finals. And like this guy's talking like, okay, this looks like a nerd, but he knows sports and he's super nice and he's drinking. And like, I'm there for 5 minutes before I turn to the right and actually look at who it is. Because in Michigan, eye contact is very rude. You don't make eye contact unless you know someone. I look at him. It's friggin' George R. Martin with the little tiny sailor cap, the big beard.
I think it's a newsboy cap, right?
Is it?
Oh, no, you're right. You're right. It's a captain's cap. Yeah, and you're right.
This is at, I wouldn't say the beginning of his ascent to greatness, but it's still on the upslope. And now I think George R. Martin probably has a tough time going into a bar and just enjoying himself without people coming up to him. But it wasn't at that point yet. And I look over and I'm like, get the fuck out of here. You're George R. Martin.
Super cool. Your man, Scott Sigler. Wait, my man, Scott Sigler. Your author, Scott, whatever, however that works. Is so cool under pressure, he does this.
And
tell me again.
Get the fuck out of here, you George R. Martin. And he's like, well, I do know that I am George R. Martin. And he's like, so nice, so calm, so rolling with it.
So nice to meet you.
And because I got there early, and because most newer authors show up crocked with an entourage late in the evening, I got to hang out with George R. Martin for like 45 minutes to an hour. Just us, hanging out at the corner bar. I'm sure he doesn't remember it, but it was absolutely fantastic, and I treasure that memory immensely. Hey.
I'm so jealous of that, and I was going to tell my Anne McCaffrey story, but unless you guys, if you guys don't want this, email me at info@emptyset with all your other stuff. But I'm not going to tell my Anne McCaffrey story. I'll tell both my Anne McCaffrey story and my Gregory Hines story next week, so that I instead can tell the second time that you met George R. Martin.
All right. I'm not sure I remember this, but go ahead.
So.
Damn, your voice sounds good tonight. You sound dope.
I mean, because you dialed in my microphone and you put my own mic right here with the little whatever this thing is.
Tell me the second time I met George R. Martin, please.
So it's Song of Fire and Ice has just come out. And Scott is, of course, also a writer whose Mysterious Galaxy is his home store. But it's Comic-Con again. And Song of Fire and Ice has just come out, and George R. R. Martin flies in a day early for Comic-Con, so he's here on a Tuesday to do a signing. And I talk to the crew at Mysterious Galaxy and say, hey, can we come over? And they say, yes, but definitely get here early so that you can get a number, because they're just like us. They're sort of egalitarian and like, you can do this. Just show up early. We'll give you a number. It'll be fine. He can get his book and whatever. And so he lands in San Diego flipping an hour late, which is not his fault. It's the fog in San Francisco. But he's smart enough to have, oh, hello, Bitty Business, to have brought his own, which he's already ordered, and he is already halfway through, his own copy of Fire and Ice, Song of Fire and Ice. And he's like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I'm like, yeah, you can't really control like United Airlines. It's fine. And we get on the road. We go to Mysterious Galaxy, and there's a giant ass line. And they've cut off the line. But I already have a number because I'm San Diego based, right? So at the time it was owned by different people, but all the people at Mysterious Galaxy are great. So they say like, that's cool. Just stay here. You're fine. You like, I'm not going to put you at the front of the line, but just get in the back of the line because you already have a number. Scott goes in. I don't know what to do when I get the number, so I buy a book. So now we have two of those, but that's fine because now I have one. And he shows up, and you're going to have to take over when it happens. So we get in line. We actually get Scott in line to meet George R. R. Martin an hour late, and he's in the room. He's in the shop, whatever. And then you go up with your Song of Fire and Ice.
A couple things. I went to get the dogs. I don't know if A told this part of the story, but Mysterious Galaxy was in a strip mall at the time. It's not there anymore. And the bar where we were having our meetup with our San Diego fans was in the same strip mall. So I'm at the strip mall at a bar with, I would say, 20 to 25 fans. Joshua Loy was there that day. He's in the chat room now. He's always
Joshua, you're my favorite. I love that you always show up.
And we're
also
there.
The
and the beauty, of course, every entertainer in the world would like to have 200, 2,000 people. We had 25, and it was great because I got to sit down and have a beer with everybody. We're chatting. We're all getting to know each other, much like this chat room. It's great. And we look out the window, and down the road there's this huge line out of Mysterious Galaxy, and I'm like, who is that for? And he's like, oh no, that's George R. R. Martin. Don't worry, I've got it covered. So I'm like, oh, okay, cool. So I continue to celebrate, and then at some point comes over and was able to pull some strings, as she did. I was like, okay, the line's gone. George's about to go home, so you have to leave. If you want to meet George R. R. Martin, you have to leave right now. You have to come over right now. And I'm like, hey, all you fans, you're awesome, but you kiss my ass. I'm going to go meet George R. R. Martin.
I mean, you came right back, though.
Peace out. And I peace out, and I go meet George R. R. Martin, and this is one of the best things that's ever happened in my life. I got to tell you a short story to tell you the final spot of a story. Short story is, before I'm published, and before George R. R. Martin is a juggernaut, when he's still a very respected, high-selling author of a fixture in the world of sci-fi, written Wild Cards and a bunch of other things. He's a giant football fan, huge NFL fan. I find this out way back when, and this is when we had the Rookie and the Starter out, and he's still talking to people on his website and his bulletin board. So he is not that famous yet. So I sent him an email. I'm like, hi, George. I'm on your site. I noticed you like football. I've written stories that are science fiction football. I would love to send them to you if you're interested. And George writes back almost immediately like, that sounds very interesting. Make sure you send them to me as books, though. I don't read ebooks or I don't do audiobooks. So I sent him the Rookie and the Starter. If he had liked the Rookie and the Starter and had gushed about it, my career would be in a different place. I'm going to assume he didn't like him. And that's okay. That's not the point. The point is, I'm like, oh, sweet, George R. R. Martin. So I go walking down the street to the bookstore, and I got my Lions hat on. And I walk in, and I'm the last person in line. They literally kept the store open as a courtesy to us so that I can get my book signed by one of my favorite authors. I go in, and George is there, and he's clearly tired, but he's a trooper. He's signing everybody's books. He's there for the long haul. And I go up to him like, George, thank you so much for staying late. Hi, I'm Scott Sigler. I don't know, you might not remember my name, but I did send you a couple of books way back when about football, kind of space football, kind of a hero's quest kind of thing. And he looks, and you can tell, like, he doesn't remember. I mean, he's gotten a lot of books at this point, but he's a trooper, and he's like, well, to be honest, I'm not sure I recall those books, but if the football you say, I'm like, yes, and I know you're a big football fan. He's like, yes, I'm a big football fan. You're a big football fan? I go, yes, Sam. He goes, oh, and then he's got the book open, and he's starting to sign the book, and he's got his little hat on, tiny hat.
Oh, Lord, you guys.
Tiny hat. And he goes, oh, and what NFL franchise do you root for? Not like, who's your team? Like, who's your boys' dog? Like, what NFL franchise do you root for? And I like point to my hand and go, Lions, Detroit. And he looks up at the book and goes, oh, you poor fellow. And he signed my book, closed it, handed it back to me, and that was it. I got, oh, you poor fellow. Oh, you poor fellow.
Look, I'm a Jets fan, so I feel you, but it's awesome. I love that story so much. Also, Lolo, I see you in the audience. Hello, my sister. How are you?
Oh, okay. All right. That's our famous person stories for the day.
Yeah, we'll do that unless you guys complain by sending an email to info@emptyset. We'll finish our 3 stories. We have a couple. I have 2. He has 1 more of famous people.
Sorry.
We'll do that on Tuesday. Or maybe next Thursday. I'm not sure. We'll figure it out. If you are wanting to play along with SIGLERINPLACE of the week, next week, it is going to be a Collins. I'm going to make a Tom Collins, which is made with gin, because some people may have bought gin to play along. If Tom Collins is not your thing, you can make that with vodka, no problem. So hopefully we'll see you. I will walk through it on Tuesday with you. We will finish telling our famous people stories as we do next week.
Oh, you poor fellow.
Oh, you poor fellow. It was.
You can't even come out like, what'd you say about my team, motherfucker? What'd you say? What's up? What's up? You're like, no, just, oh, you poor fellow. Oh, okay, I got nothing. I absolutely got nothing. Ladies and gentlemen, that is it for our show. Go to ScottSigler.com on Monday, which would be July what? July 20th?
I have no idea.
Anyways, this coming Monday, go to ScottSigler.com, look for the drink recipe. We encourage you to have all of the ingredients available. We're going to make the drink right here on this very desktop, and you can watch and make with us, and then we'll have the same drink on Thursday. It'll be wicked smart and wicked fun. If you have questions for Sigler in Place, things you want to hear me talk about, if you have Sigler-brations, send them to info@emptyset.com.
Doesn't have to be a Tuesday or Thursday. Could be any day,
Any
of,
day
the
of the week.
Anything you want to
Any day of
celebrate.
the
It
week.
could be literally a month from now because I'm keeping a list. I've
And
had
listen.
a few folks send me things for August, and I'm all in, you guys.
Listen,
all in.
We think you are fantastic. We want you to keep tuning in, share time with us. We want you to stay safe, stay smart,
Stay science, you guys. I know this is hard, but I promise you.
And then we hit this. All right, you ready for a big dating game kiss?
Yes. I'm going to do squeaky.
Okay.